Hi, welcome to my second video. Thanks for all my friends who send me private message or text me. It has inspired me more to continue to this newly loved hobby. I'm glad to know that I have inspired and empowered you guys to be plantitas now. So for my new viewers, welcome to my channel. I will be uploading new videos about my plant collection and how do I incorporate them as my new home decor, at least every week. So I invite you to go ahead and click the subscribe and ring button below. In this video, we will have a plant tour in our front porch, and I will not only be sharing with you the plants that I have here, but also the principles that I follow in decorating this area. But please take note, I am not a professional interior decorator, and I'm just a plant collector, a hobbyist. All the information that I will be sharing here with you are based on my experience and information I gathered from reading, observation, experimenting, and watching fellow bloggers. To mention a few, I have learned a lot from Planterina, Kinwoven and Julie Khuu. I will write below in the description the links of their YouTube channel. So I wanted to decorate this area with plants with the goal of making a statement as an entrance to our home, and while making it also an alternative morning nook. We love to eat breakfast here on weekends when we are not working. So the two important things that I considered in choosing what kind of plant I will put in this area are the light exposure and the measurement of the area. As all plantitas know, light exposure is very critical for making plants happy and thrive. So this is in the west side of our house, which means that it would have a partial afternoon sun exposure. And in terms of size, this is relatively small. So considering the two factors that I have mentioned, limited space and partial afternoon sun exposure, I have thought of getting succulents and cactus because they need bright light but does not need so much space. Now that I have identified the type of plant, the next question that I have is how I will arrange them so it will have an appealing visual presentation. So here are the designing principles I follow that I wanted to share with you. So first is the color palette. I choose neutral warm color to have minimalistic effect. I choose it because it would be calm to the eyes, especially in the afternoon. That's the reason why I painted the shelf white. It was black before. And I used terracotta pots so I get the earthy color of brown. There is a pop of blue color which blends with our window and our door, and it also happens to be a gator color, which may represent University of Florida where Babes goes. So this is why the reason for this look. I choose the color blue and orange for this pot, so which means that this is my gator pot. Yes, we are divided house. Since Kuya Paulo goes to FSU or Florida State University and Babes goes to UF. So the next principle that I consider is the functional flow or the layout. As I have mentioned, this area is small, but with proper planning, I am able to achieve my goals. That is to have a cozy breakfast nook with my plants, allowing easy traffic and able to maximize the space. The chair and table are not fancy, but it can still serve its purpose, so why not, right? Got this table when we're still living in an apartment, so it is so slim and you can fold it. So both the table and chairs for me are perfect, which qualifies for a minimalistic effect. The chair may not look comfortable, but for the period of time that we are expected to sit here, Larry and me are usually just eating breakfast so on a weekend. So for that short period of time, that should serve a purpose. The other shelf that I use here is the blocks of cement. Got this idea from Pinterest. Its natural color, its size, and how you can arrange them according to your desire to maximize the space just make them perfect. The other principle that I follow is grouping. Since the succulents or cactus are so tiny, I arrange them in grouping on a shelf. Designers always recommend to arrange things in odd number, which is a classic technique, usually in group of threes of different size and height to create an interesting visual presentation. In this corner, I have a multiple group of three. Like I have the big brown pot and then the two pairs of shoes. So that will count as group of three. And then within the big pot, I have another three kinds of plants of different size, color, and texture. So that is how I arrange them. Now let's get a closer look to my individual plants here. This is my string of ruby, and they have tiny yellow flowers. They're so pretty. This is not a succulent nor a cactus. This is a kind of fern which has a lot of childhood memories because we had this in our front garden when I was still young. I'm sorry, but I don't know all the specific names of my plants. I just know that they are either a succulent or a cactus. This is known as curly cactus or orchid cactus. This is my souvenir when we went to Tennessee last month. The plant at the back is known as Ricra cactus. If you know any of their specific name, then please feel free to leave me a comment down below. Thank you. For me, based on my experience, the most critical factors for their care are sun exposure and water requirement. So for sun exposure, almost all would need bright light. But make sure that you know the requirement of each individual plant because not all can tolerate direct sun. Some leaves will be born. In terms of water requirement, almost all are drought tolerant. So I usually just water them like every 7 to 10 days. And because I always have the tendency to drown my plants, I use terracotta for this. Decreases the risk of over watering. And so far it worked for me. Well, I guess that's all for now. Please consider to subscribe to this channel and see you again next video. Thank you.